high-level point guard, pick and roll defense. What did you see from your point of view?
Yeah, I mean, John Morant's pretty good. He started going under his pick and rolls, and he was 5 for 6 from 3. So then we started moving up in our pick and rolls, and he was getting downhill. Bruno tweaked his knee, so not having him definitely affected our pick and roll defense as far as the downhill. We picked him up a little bit too soon, so he was getting so downhill so quickly. And it was a hard job. Jalen had to really put forth a lot of effort on the defensive end, and then put forth a lot of effort on the offensive end. So I was proud of him for that. But once he started rolling, and, especially making the threes and getting to the free throw line, the other stuff you can kind of deal with. But he just had a great night.
Were there times, especially in the fourth quarter, where you wanted to trap him on screens and just didn't get it trapped?
Yeah, he's so fast. So, we're trying to get out there and blitz him, and he was splitting the blitz, or he was dribbling around, or we weren't all the way up. It's harder to blitz when Alpy's in the game just because of the mobility. So I tried to do it with Jabari, but Jabari never even worked on blitzing with him yet at the 5. So, there were times where we tried to get the ball out of his hands. He obviously seen so many blitzes and played so many games and seen every single coverage, whether it's regular season or playoff series. He's seen a little bit of everything. So, that's that.
It's also not just something available. When he's making that 3-pointer, that changes the equation.
It changes everything because he's downhill. You have to honor the 3, and now he's getting downhill. So when he's making his 3-point shot, he's very, very hard to guard. And they all did that tonight. They made 19 of them. And one of our things is protecting the paint. And we did a decent job of that. They had 48 in the paint, but the threes were what hurt us the most. And as we go through the season, we'll find that if we do a good job of protecting the paint and they're making threes, it's going to be a little bit tougher for us to win. But we have to get out there and contest them.
You spoke about Bruno tweaking his knee a moment ago. Do you have an official update on him? And also, what went into the decision to have Jabari Smith Jr. playing the backup 5 minutes as opposed to, say, Usman Garuba?
Yeah, so I don't have an official diagnosis on his knee. He felt it at halftime, and we tried him. But, And then Jabari, having him play the 5 with Steven Adams in his drops, we felt like we could get pick and pops. And he got a few pick and pop opportunities and made a couple, but that was the thought behind that.
Even before Bruno went out, you had Alfie out there with Jalen and Kevin a little bit more.
Yeah.
Just how did you think he looked? Did he seem like he was a little bit more comfortable with them?
Yeah, he looked comfortable. He looked, we didn't run a whole bunch of pick and roll, but he looked comfortable. He was getting the ball in the right spots. He was in the dunker when he was supposed to be in the dunker. He's going to be out there a lot with those guys, so it's important for him to find a way to play well with those guys. So, he's not just relegated to the second unit and just going to play with those guys. He's going to play with both groups, so he's going to have to be able to play well with both groups.
You opted against staggering Jalen and Kevin. What's your thought process behind that, and do you expect that to be a regular thing throughout the season?
I don't necessarily expect that to be a regular thing throughout the season, but they were just playing so well together that I didn't want to break the rhythm. So I went with them together and then took them out together and then brought them back together. But that's not going to be a regular thing, I don't think. When Tate comes back and things move around a little bit, I'll be able to stagger them a little bit more so we can have a little bit more firepower.
Alfie seemed to have more confidence tonight. What did you see from him?
Yeah, he's always confident, so that's always good. He was finding the offensive rebounds, which was great. I think he scored on his first 3 post-ups, which set up the rest of his game. So him catching the ball in the paint, him finishing, catching high lows, made a 3, which is good. So yeah, he looked comfortable on the floor, and him with the starting lineup or backup, he needs to play well, and he did.
John Morrell was going to get a lot of the highlights on the reels tonight, but he also talked about how great Jalen played tonight.
Yeah, I mean, Jalen was great. He was so good. He was efficient. He, 13 for 21. We want him to be right around that 20 shot number, and he was. And 4 for 5 and 3. Super efficient. Getting downhill, getting into the paint. And then, like I said, the defensive job that he had to do on Ja, at times, we put Scoot on him some, wears him out. So, I was super proud of what he did, but I told Ja after the game, it was an impressive performance that he had, but I did tell him, they're who we want to be. They were a young, up and coming team a few years back with a bunch of young guys, and, slowly but surely got to the point where they are now. And, I see us very much in the same vein.
Coach, during shoot around, Kevin Porter talked about how important it was to clock the paint, not to let John Morant get in there. Tomorrow, you guys play against Giannis and other players might be attacked downfield. How much of this game will you actually utilize in order to kind of help slow Giannis down?
Yeah, I mean, it's so different because Ja uses a pick and roll, and Giannis doesn't as much. He'll just kind of catch it and go, catch it in transition, face up, ISO, drive. So it'll be different. We'll be able to be in our help spots a little bit better, hopefully. But they still present very much the same challenge as far as protecting the paint. If they kick out to three-point shooters, or if Giannis is making a whole bunch of threes, it'll be tough for us again.
You talked about the small ball being seems to go to in games. So that's usually in the second half. What did you see from that?
It was okay. It was the pick and roll with Ja was tough, and we were trying to put Jabari on the big so we could switch it. And they were getting to it different ways, whether they were initiating it on one side, then swinging it into it, or bringing the pick and roll so it's flat and it's harder to switch into. And then again, when your pickup point is so high, we talked about a pickup point being lower, but when it's so high, then it gets a right start. It's really hard to switch that as well. So we just got to clean that up and get our switch technique better. So when we do go small, it'll be more effective.
Would you have been switching more? Or would you have been doing those similar switches had Bruno been playing throughout the second half?
Probably not. We probably would have blitzed more because he has the ability to get out there and trap and rotate back and that kind of thing. He's more comfortable doing that.
The transition take foul, it's obviously there for a reason, but does there need to be a little gray area that it's kind of easy to manipulate?
I mean, yes.
They had 50 rebounds. You guys finished with 45. How encouraging of a time is that for going against a team that led the NBA in rebounding last season to be able to match that intensity, that physicality?
There's a lot to be proud of for this game. I mean, we scored 122 points against a very good defensive team. We were right there with the rebounds, 45 to 50. They made 19 threes and we made 16 threes. If we would have made some of our free throws, we'd have been right in the game. So I'm not discouraged at all about this. I'm encouraged because we took a team who is one of the top teams in our conference, and they felt good about beating us because we played so hard. And you could hear them, down the hallway like it was a playoff game, like they really had to put a lot into it to beat us. And that's one of the things. We want to be a team that's hard to play against, and we were tonight. We were very hard to play against. So, yeah, the 45 to 50 rebounds, they got some of the offensive rebounds that were bouncing around and were 50-50 balls I wish we would have gotten. But I think we can all in this room and whoever else is watching see that this team is much better than anybody thinks we are.
Thank you.